Welcome back, everybody. Today we are joined by Rob from Dootrix. So welcome to the podcast, Rob. Maybe we can start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and Dootrix.
Sure, yeah. Hi, Jordan. It's good to meet you. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, so Dootrix, we're a pioneering software technology consultancy primarily. So we've been going 13, 14 years, and we really see ourselves as the opportunity for our customers to build the team that they always wish they could build, but they are not able to, and to explore the technologies that they want to explore, but they've never been able to. And how that manifested itself really was, 12, 13 years ago, the iPhone had happened, consumer tech, the revolution had swept the world, and everyone kind of wanted to use these magical devices in their working environments, but the businesses weren't set up to do it. So we were kind of one of the really early pioneers in that mobile apps space. So we were building mobile apps for large businesses, brands in the enterprise space, both in terms of their consumer facing, but equally internally as well. So how the workforce would be operating in this new mobile landscape. This was kind of a brand new technology. And not only was it about mobile being a brand new thing, but it also transformed the way software was being developed at the time. And it was a rise of kind of agile development and XP, all this kind of stuff, the code craft movement which happened amongst engineering. And we were kind of right at the leading edge of that. And over the years, that sort of morphed because we didn't want to be pigeonholed as a mobile apps agency. That wasn't really what we wanted to be. We found our passion really came from the development of the technology itself and what that meant into kind of where, I guess, the intersection where people and technology meet. And when kind of the next new wave came along, it was when cloud really became quite exciting. And people were talking about cloud migration to setting up VMs and that kind of thing. Started to get involved when it was called PaaS at the time, Platform as a Service. It later became known as Cloud Native. And this is kind of when Azure and AWS started to enable microservices effectively for engineers like us to cobble together and create new systems. And the cloud effectively became the operating system of the world. So we're still building these mobile apps, but they're now using the cloud as their back end. And we were right at that kind of pioneering edge about when this new wave was hitting. What did that mean for our customers and how could they best utilize that? Because alongside that came the transition into new ways of working, so where agile sort of came in with the mobile transition, when cloud native really hit, that's when DevOps happened and continuous integration and that kind of stuff. So again, it's like, whenever we went in and got involved with an organization, we would always try and leave them better set up when we were done to kind of continue and run it externally once we'd left. And that brings us to kind of where we are right now, which is kind of the next big wave is just about to hit. And it's obviously, what is this AI piece mean for software technology and the way that we all work and live ultimately. So that's what Dootrix is set up to do. And that's really what gets us out of bed in the morning.
Amazing. And so who is the customer that you serve the best, do you think? Given that you do so many things and you can build so many things, do you serve many sorts of customer profiles, or have you honed in on a specific one that you get really good results for or love working with?
Yeah, I mean, it does depend. We've tended over the years to work really well with organizations that are kind of CIO-led or CTO. So it's kind of that IT department, those technical teams, they kind of want to play with new technology, but for whatever reason within their organization, they're unable to quite do what they want to do. They can't quite build that culture that they want to build without some external influences. So kind of, those large businesses, those enterprise class businesses, which have got a good understanding of the technology and where they want to go, but need a little bit of help and a little bit of fuel to kind of take them into that next space.
Okay, got it. And Rob, you said that you're building these AI solutions and it's the thing that gets you excited and gets you up and going in the morning. What sorts of trends are you noticing in the AI space, and where do you believe it might go over the next, let's call it 12 months?
So, I mean, it's interesting because it's happening so fast. I mean, the things that were brand new and kind of science fiction 3 months ago are kind of old hat now. So, this is the fastest transition I think we've seen ever, really. And the changes are probably going to be quite profound. Where there's a lot of excitement at the moment is in this space called agents. I don't know if you've come across agents and agentic computing. Yes. This idea that, you have software agents which can autonomously go out and solve problems on their own in kind of ambiguous circumstances. So they're not on rails. They're not just automating workflows. but they're actively going out, solving problems, making decisions, and coming up with outcomes independently of the human interaction. The technology itself is really exciting, but how that's going to manifest itself in the enterprise space is quite fascinating, because many of these organizations obviously have lots of regulation, lots of rules, lots of loops and hoops to jump through. So where does this human in the loop sit, and what is that what is that kind of that cooperation between the AI and the human, and how does that work? Because while we're going to be infinitely more efficient and things are going to get infinitely cheaper, that doesn't necessarily result in a race to the bottom. Where we're just going to keep churning out lots of cheap software now. It's going to get more complicated. It's going to get there are going to be new capabilities that emerge as a result and enable kind of the workforce to kind of do slightly different things. It's a transition that we're on, and it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah. I've spoken to a lot of people in the software space, and many of them are excited about AI agents. That seems to be the thing that is trending, and everyone seems to be really excited about it. I look forward to seeing what happens with that in the future as well. If we look into the past now and go, okay, over the previous 12 months, what do you think have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in building Dootrix?
I think there's definitely been a regional trend, and I'd be interested in your take, because obviously you're in a slightly different region to us. But there's been the macroeconomics of it all has been quite challenging within the UK. So there's been a lot of pressure on budgets. We deal primarily in the enterprise space, and there's lots of big organisations that, while there is plenty of money floating around, these organisations are generally cash rich. There's been a real hesitancy to spend it and to commit onto new programs and to explore new things. I think there's a combination of factors in this. There's some of them are economic, some of them are geopolitical, and some of them as well are these emerging technology trends where no one's quite sure where to invest the money. It's very difficult at the moment to commit to a 3-year program of transformation or a 5-year program of transformation when, as I said, 3 months ago, what was science fiction is now old hat. So there's quite a lot of uncertainty, I think, both in terms of what's coming out in the technology space, but also where the geopolitics have been with election cycles and economies and that kind of stuff.
Right. And how are you navigating that? So if you're speaking to a client and they're saying, this is the solution that we need you to help us either consult or build or whatever, and like, how do you future-proof that solution by the time it's finished being built? It's not already redundant, given that things move so fast and we can't see into the future. How is that affecting things, and how are you navigating that?
It's an interesting question. I mean, there are some base principles, particularly with these larger organizations. They do work on longer time horizons. The things that are right on the cutting edge, they're probably not going to be spending lots of money on those now anyway, other than in the lab scenario or in the the innovation space, the R&D space, which are going to inform what they do with their major programs in the coming months and years. So things that are going on right now, there's still the bread and butter work that's going on. So there's still lots of cloud migrations, cloud transformations, app modernization work that's going on. So as people move from one framework to the next, so there's still that activity, but it's where you build the credibility. There's lots of software agencies out there. There's lots of systems integrators out there. They all fundamentally do the same thing, right? So if you don't want to compete on price, what are you going to compete on? Why are people going to choose one organization to work with over another when fundamentally the outcome is going to be the same, right? We can all do a great job, right? Often when you're in the room and you're pitching to get involved with a piece of work, whether or not you can actually do the job doesn't very often come up in the conversation. That's assumed. That's been figured out. You got into the room, you're in the final 3. They all assume you can do the job, but why are they going to work with you as opposed to a nearshore outsourcer, or as opposed to a much larger organization or some smaller organization? What is it about you that they're going to choose to say, actually, no, we want to do our work with Dootrix. We like the way they operate. We like, we like these guys. We want to move forward with these guys. And I think that's where we can stand out, is because we can position ourselves by understanding that confluence between the people and the technology, but equally having one eye on what's coming next, so that we're not building stuff now, which is going to become obsolete and disappear, but it's got one eye on the future, and one eye how it's going to move into kind of the next phase, the next wave of technology.
Yeah, it's a really good insight. Talking about commoditized offers is also something that I very rarely hear people like admit that a lot of offers are this commoditized race to the bottom. And how do you differentiate yourself? And there's a famous chap. His name is Alex Hermosi. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done a very good interview with Stephen Bartlett, just gone live. If you for a slightly larger podcast than this one.
And maybe one day in the very far future, I might be speaking to Hermosi. But I've sort of studied all of his stuff, and I'm a big fan of his work. I mean, even his first book here, I broke it down in an 1.5 hour long video where he talks about how to differentiate yourself, how to put yourself in a category of one. So it's very refreshing to hear somebody like yourself aware of that, and maybe even using some of the principles in what you guys do day to day with Dootrix. So yeah. Massive props
absolutely.
there.
You don't want to be competing on price. If you've already lost, if you're competing on price, that's the race to the bottom. You don't want that customer that wants to choose you because you're the cheapest. So if you're not competing on price because you're not involved in that race, why are they going to choose you? That's the fundamental question you got to answer, because everyone's an expert, everyone's got capability. It costs some money to do what you do, and you've already decided you're not going to win that race. So what race are you going to win? Why are they going to choose you? That's kind of where we always try to set ourselves apart.
Nice. Increasing the perceived value, as Hermosi puts it. I like that. Okay. And then, so how are you approaching customer acquisition at the moment? While we're speaking about acquisition.com and Hermosi, how are you actually acquiring customers?
Yeah. So interestingly, and it kind of leans into kind of the AI conversation, really. So when Gen AI appeared, generative AI appeared, also the internet is flooded with blog posts and images and obviously even video and stuff now. Automated podcasts from text. If you've seen there's some great products out there that can automate the podcasts and fit in voice cloning also. So the internet is awash with content, right? But what people still want to buy is people. Fundamentally, we need an opportunity for people to get to know you as an individual. Because it's me, it's my business partner, it's my teams. They're the people that they're going to be working with day to day. So you have to somehow humanize this picture, humanize this brand, humanize this sale. And so that's what we're trying to do more and more, really, is how do you get our people to appear to be real, to appear to be human, that you can interact with? How do you get more and more quality time with that? How do you become that person of influence within that space, like a human connection? And again, I've said it before, it comes back to that key principle for us. It's about the intersection between technology and people, and where those two things can come together, even in an age of AI. In fact, probably it's even more important in an age of AI, that the interaction between technology and people is so key. Now, some people won't like me. Some people will see a video, or maybe they'll talk to me on the phone, or, maybe they'll see me at a conference or something. I'll be like, Rob, don't like him. I'm never going to work with him. But that's fine. There's a bunch of people that you will meet and they will like you. And I think we want people to make those kind of choices.
And conversely, there will be people who will only ever buy from you, and they just haven't discovered you yet. And so I kind of feel like it's our duty to put ourselves out there. We were talking a little bit before that, since started making content and starting putting podcasts and stuff like that out, it's a great way to just have people see who you really are and build trust and authority. So yeah, highly recommend putting yourself, because it was very difficult for me, and I know that you are looking to put out some more content as well. But speaking for myself, it was very, I'm quite a private person. It's very difficult to put myself on camera. Yeah,
you got to get over your own ego, haven't you? Your biggest barrier is your own ego. So you can get that out of the way and just do it.
Okay, Rob. So a favorite question of mine to ask is, let's say that you had a magic wand that you could wave over one big problem in the business right now, and you could solve it just like that. What would that big problem be, and why?
Well, I think the biggest problem that any organization has at a certain size is lead generation. Okay, so we have a really great relationship with our clients and our customers, and they generally stay with us for a really long time. So, I think our customers, the shortish at the moment, other than obviously brand new logos, but sort of 5, 6, 7. Our biggest customer's been with us nearly 10 years. They're spending lots of money each year. We don't have a problem with customer retention. But once you start to tick over a certain number, all of a sudden the only thing you care about is, where's the next one coming from? Where's the next lead? Where's my next opportunity? So I think to have a limitless supply of new leads, I think would be the one that I would wave. As we said earlier, particularly in this really what is quite difficult environment at the moment in terms of business, and say within the UK, there's been various changes in kind of the economic climate and kind of the just a general background of taxes and policies and politics and that kind of stuff, which has been quite difficult. It's created a difficult environment for our customers and our ideal customers to want to commit to making investments to go forwards. Kind of that against the difficult politics and stuff around the place. We want confidence to come back into the market so that people are able to innovate and to do new things and to engage organisations like ourselves in kind of the next wave of technology, really.
Yeah. No, 100%. And so, okay, wave the magic wand, lead generation sorted. What sorts of things have you tried in the past that maybe haven't worked so well, and what has worked well in terms of lead generation?
Yeah, I think we've always really relied upon, I guess, what I would call founder hustle. Is that
grease?
Ability? Sorry,
Elbow grease.
Elbow grease. Yeah, it's that ability for kind of the founders of the business to go out and meet people, and that's because we it's a big ticket item, right? We don't need that many new customers a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we have such good retention rates, it just compounds and compounds and compounds, which is fantastic. And that's how we've grown consistently for the last 13 years. And we're in a really good place. But that only stretches so far because I can only go and meet so many people. Unless my next video takes off and goes viral, there's only so many people I can meet. There's only so many people my business partner can meet. There's only so many conversations that we can have. A big focus for us, I suppose, and in this next period is kind of how we professionalize and mature that sales engine to become how the hustle becomes a smaller part of what is ultimately a bigger and more industrialized machine.
Okay. Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm hearing a lot of that sentiment in the market right now, especially with all the AI slop. Everybody has realized in the very beginning when AI started automating everything, it was very easy to acquire leads and they were abundant. And then everybody came in and flooded the market with all of their slop. And now it's significantly more difficult. So there's simple processes to acquire new clients and leads. Obviously, we connected with cold outreach. So there are ways to do it if it's done well and it's not spray and pray. So yeah, 100%. Okay. And then so
it's really got to be human connection. I think if you can make human connection
100%.
in an AI world, in a technology flooded world, if you can connect with the person, and then you're going to get more opportunities. So that's going to be a throwback. That's going to be going back to the old days of picking up the phone, talking to people, going out and meeting people. If you imagine that just flooding with cold emails is probably not the way.
Yeah. Cool, Rob. So I guess finally then, like if you had to look back on your 13-year journey now with Dootrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you would change now that you have the gift of hindsight?
Oh, wow. It's not too much I would change. I think I would probably bring in senior help quicker. So what you tend to do as a founder of a business is you do as much as you can yourself, and you basically just fill all the roles yourself. You're the accountant, you're the legal team, you're the chief salesman, you're probably a project manager, you do a bit of engineering, you do it all, right? And then you slowly backfill and replace yourself as you understand the role, and then you hire for that role. But what we have always done a little bit slower than I think maybe we could have done is to bring in the people that have done our part of the journey before, right? So when you're on, 1 to 5 people, you're trying to do £500,000 or something, there's a group of people that have worked that out. Get them involved and help them, when you've done the next level and you're trying to break 1 million. Okay, someone knows how to do that. It's a well-trodden path. Okay, so get them involved and figure out how to do that. And then it's 1 to 5 million and 5 to 15 million. There are different people that have got those skills already. They've done it. And I think often founders can be quite reluctant to invest the money, invest the time in finding those people and bringing them in. Because I think if you manage to do that, you could end up saving yourself years to pain and sweat because you can stand on the shoulders of the giants that have gone before you. And I think if we started again, I think we could probably get to where we got to now in maybe half the time, because we would know who to talk to, who to ask, and we solved a bunch of the problems, if that makes sense. So get more people involved, I think, and meet the people that have done it before.
I love that. And I feel like that's a perfect way to wrap everything up. So I really appreciate the insights and your time today, Rob. If people are watching and they want to connect with you or they want to check out Dootrix, like where can they go? How can they connect?
Yeah, well, the obvious place is Dootrix.com. That's kind of where our stuff is. There's a new website coming soon. But for me personally, I mean, I'm on X and I'm on LinkedIn. You can get me at Rob Borley. You'll find me if you look for me. So yeah, happy to connect and have a chat.
Excellent. I'll make sure to leave links and like everything like that in the description. So highly recommend you guys go and check everything out that Dootrix is doing, and Rob over there. Sounds like some really exciting stuff. And thank you again for the time and the insights, like I say, Rob. And we will see you guys in the next podcast.